How you doing, folks? Remember me? Probably not. I haven't done a review in 7 months. So, on the movie club this week is Olympus Has Fallen, which I almost said White House Down, because this is part of a sort of a grand tradition. I don't know how long it's happened. It feels like, I'm sure this generation didn't invent it, of Hollywood making two very similar movies that come out at almost the same time. In the past, we've had Armageddon versus Deep Impact, and more recently we've had Snow White and the Huntsman versus Mirror Mirror. And in this case, you got this plus White House Down, which are both about pretty self-explanatory. The White House getting attacked by bad guys, and one man has to save the day. I get sad when people say that this is Die Hard meets Air Force One, and I'm like, no. Air Force One is Die Hard on the president's plane. This is just Die Hard in the White House. But I mean, we used to get lots of these movies. I mean, who would have think a movie like Die Hard would have invented a whole genre, you know? Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard on a submarine, Die Hard on a train. Well, there's a funny thing about this movie, and maybe this is just from having watched so many movies. Every time there was some big actor showed up on screen, I don't know, somehow it took me out of the movie. It's like, ta-da, this is a movie. Kind of hard to explain. Here we have an all-star cast. We got Gerard Butler as our hero. He's a disgraced Secret Service agent. Aaron Eckhart is our president. Morgan Freeman is our Speaker of the House, I guess. He becomes acting president when the siege starts. Ashley Judd plays our First Lady. We got Dylan McDermott as a Secret Service guy. Rick Yoon is our bad guy. And probably a few others that I'm forgetting. So what we have is a pretty standard action plot. The White House is attacked, this time by the Koreans, the North Koreans, who are, implausibly well organized and well armed. They got a big plane that gets the siege going, and then they got a whole tour group of people who are their, secret agents and such that take things over from the inside. I will give this movie credit for one thing, is that it does, in this age of, summer blockbusters that try to clean things up for PG-13 rating to get a wider audience, this movie definitely embraces the R rating as a good action movie should. This movie is, seriously, really violent. So people are getting jacked up. But beyond that, it's pretty standard and forgettable. I'm sure I've forgotten most of the movie by now. I'm recording this 3 days after I saw it. So, what's good? Who's good? Morgan Freeman gets to play the president, sort of, again. Most of the cast is pretty good. Gerard Butler, as we expect him to be, is a really good action hero. And there's some decent action. It's an okay action movie. It's just not terribly innovative or memorable or interesting. The bad guys are just bad guys with not really much complexity. Even the one guy who's a traitor, why did he betray him? He just says globalization and Wall Street. That's his explanation. Okay. It's really just an excuse for a series of action set pieces at the White House. Would I recommend this? I guess if you watch the trailer, you kind of know what to expect. You're like, oh, I've seen this movie before. So thanks for tuning into the Movie Club, and we'll see you next time. See ya.